Spiritual awakening can be defined as the awakening of a dimension of reality that goes beyond the boundaries of the human ego. This awakening only takes place when human self-esteem somehow gives way for a higher self or spirit to arise within. The average human being individual is more of an archetype. That is to say, the ego is typically a collection of archetypes, programs, or set patterns of behavior, and this conditioning has been set since from birth. On the other hand, psychosis or psychic awakening means the activation of the pineal gland. With this gland, you can open up to different dimensions of reality beyond this three-dimensional realm of space and time. Psychosis deals mostly with ego, while spiritual awakening involves opening the heart center, the spirit. Most times, these two are typically confused for each other. In this video, 5 differences between spiritual awakening and psychosis will be discussed. Number 1. While the ego is always doing, the spirit remains eternally in a state of being. The ego, which represents psychosis, is always represented with a sense of self or I syndrome. It controls the emotions that make a person say things like, I have a job. I think he is not qualified. The ego is always in a moving position, always showing possessiveness in whatever it is involved in or wherever it is found. This is because the ego sees itself as different from others and also better than others. This ego, also known as the lower soul, is driven by base pleasures, negative emotions, and always trying to meet up the basic human needs. Its appetite is never satisfied. It always wants more, and if it is left unchecked, it goes on and on. This is the reason why Maslow said man is a perpetually wanting animal. He was referring to his ego. The spirit, on the other hand, which is also referred to as the higher self or higher soul, is not driven by these basic needs of man, but rather it is calm, neutral, compassionate, understanding, and intuitive. Number 2, knowledge in psychosis is accumulated through learning, but not so in the spiritual awakening. In psychosis, the only way the system or person gathers wisdom and knowledge is through constant learning. A person undergoing psychosis ceases to exist once he or she stops to learn, because that is the only way he or she can develop. As it is known, the needs are insatiable, so this also triggers a constant hunger for knowledge. But for spiritual awakening, the spirit takes charge of everything, and knowledge is inbound, as a person undergoing spiritual awakening is directly in constant connection with the spirit and therefore has every knowledge he or she needs at his or her disposal at any point in time. In other words, the spirit intuits reality by what it is. It can therefore be said that the ego thinks, but the spirit knows. Number 3, spiritual awakening is a higher form of psychosis. When the process of spiritual awakening starts unfolding in the life of any individual, psychosis, the ego, begins to sublimate to the spirit. In other words, the ego gets refined into the higher soul. This is because spiritual awakening is an advanced level of psychosis, where the individual is now able to realize that there is a better way to attain knowledge and explore knowledge without always striving to learn. But this process does not just happen in a single moment of awakening. While there can be peak experiences that opens a person up to self-transcendent reality, these experiences tend to be fleeting. Number 4, psychosis gives false signs of spiritual awakening. An in-depth study into psychosis often makes a person think he or she has attained spiritual awakening, which are most times false. Some major signs of psychosis that can be confused to spiritual awakening include assuming you are good while others are evil, also seeking after love and light or goodness. Acting spiritual creates a persona or social mask that gives others the impression the person is a good person. These personas might elevate status and increase self-esteem. Still, they do not promote psychological or spiritual growth. In reality, spiritual awakening comes from the opposite direction, where a person has to face the fear, anger, guilt, and grief stored in him or her since childhood. The ability to come to terms with these experiences paves the way for authentic spiritual development, and that is when spiritual awakening is attained. Number 5, Spiritual awakening deepens emotional well-being, unlike psychosis. The emotions we face every day can be handled and calmed down by spiritual awakening. Interference in our emotional body is the main thing that blocks spiritual rebirth, and this is as a result of heightened wants of a man, psychosis, when these needs are not attained. But when spiritual awakening is attained, this wound is undone, enabling us to feel more deeply and genuinely. Re-engaging this emotional stream affects every area of a person's life. Now, instead of being possessed by a host of archetypes, the person becomes more authentically human. When this happens, there is less resistance to feel even negative emotions we resisted before. Unlike in psychosis, where you try to numb yourself and run from your feelings, spiritual awakening gives you the growing hunger to confront emotions like fear, anger, and guilt. To be able to attain this deepened emotional well-being state, self-reflection is highly needed, where a person looks back to understand the present. And this is only gotten when such a person has attained spiritual well-being. This reflecting, again, is challenging in modern times due to the fast pace we tend to run. The drive for achievement, productivity, and peak performance have their place, and this is caused by psychosis or ego. For spiritual awakening, laziness becomes a person's friend. I hope you enjoyed my explanation. Please don't hesitate to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments section. And lastly, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified of subsequent videos. Thanks for watching.